Schaut gerade wieder William. Yeah, mit einem Kollegen Thierry. Yeah.
Osmo bumps his head but catches himself now in the
Schaust
zone
du auch
and will
gerade
get enough time to pop his big pop.
Another big thing
Yeah.
is the zone's actually bouncing back to the original fifth zone location, so a lot
Back,
of Z-cycle builds
back
being used.
on-
Osmo's low now, drops all the way low. Broke back, gets his back broke. No chance there for him. Going to be moving up to another mid-ground layer to stay safe. Wood builds at the moment, which are a little bit weaker, but he's going to be looking at all angles at the moment to see what he can pick up.
Yes, provoked going down as well as eight.
bei mir.
Top 10, so 5 placement points for everyone. Good 180 out of Osmo. Finds Zol and gets some of the builds, but not enough. He's looking to see what else he can find. Sees the ballers on the low ground, but he's looking to go aggro because he doesn't have a lot of builds. 2 left, 1 left, none left now. Needs to find whatever he can. Looking for the shot, gets blasted, but he sends one right back. 115 to the face. Flutterboys, did you hear that? That's Osmo coming for your spot, doing everything he can. 8 players left, 6 duos remaining, and there it is. Spoiler goes down, so we have our top 5. It's all about the Eden's for victory, and brilliant from Osmo. Ducking back out into the storm, gets Tamir, gets the minimum amount of builds, gets all 13 of them, but still playing the low ground. 6 duos left, 5 duos remaining, 6 players. There's 1 full duo left, and Osmo's looking for a great edit down. 1, 2, 3 strikes. You're out, Harmy, and that was the other duo. We'll have a solo match if he can clean it up. Conversion comes through. 95 HP now, Shy.
In the zone now, it's the last circle, 9th one closing in, 40 seconds. Osmo finally goes down to Imagine. Imagine moving up, Jurg on the high ground, Pepper down below. It's a solo game at the moment. 1v1v1v1. Jurg making sure his lair is secure. Pepper up on the mid-ground lair. Imagine getting pressure now. Pepper on low HP. Imagine taking storm damage to get his heals up on a trap. It's his though. He moves in. Pepper going down. Risk versus Imagine on the low ground. Jurg looking for pressure from height. Gets those combat shots on Imagine, who gets dropped into the zone. Gets a quick pickup from Risk. Taking that risk, getting the reward. Jurg now on a lot of HP and shield, not taking tick step. Imagine with the surprise factor low on mats, can he get it done? 3 left for him. For Elims, he tries for the 50-50, but Jurg comes in. S2V wins at the end of the day. Very dope stuff there.
Well done there from Harambe and Jorge Q, closing out there and matching the score. Imagine and Provoked, putting both those duos at 34 points after the match. Again, we saw the leaderboard. It was 41 to 37. These are all duos who are up towards the top, but the action doesn't stop. Hopping into the 3rd game here, we are also into the final hour in Europe, so we're getting down to those last games. You can see it closing in on it. I apologize, a little premature there, but 103 left. People getting towards the back half and the back thirds of their games. 49 players left, 28 duos.
Yeah, these games are stacked. Looks like every single game so far has had that storm surge active, and these placement points are coming in around the 7th, 8th circle. So you have to be able to survive, have to keep your duo alive, have to manage your mats and your heals all the way through. Impact Fixie going up a few layers, looking for any more vantage points, any more sight lines he can block off. A launch pad coming in as people start to rotate to that 5th zone. A little bit early, but the zone just started moving. Ballers all around, a lot of open pyramid edits as well, as Fixie takes a few shots but has those shields available, going up for another big shot up or another build up. Alliance Powder goes down. So as we said, these early rotations, then the cutoffs, they're huge in terms of picking up free elims on people moving.
And somebody just tried to force that box as well with that flint knock. Fixie being not about it. Powder is getting enough space to be revived there. You can see that in the top right corner of your screen as the rotation comes up. Not a single player dropped on that rotation so far. We are still at 49 left, and this is kind of the proliferation of those heals. You see more people carrying heals, carrying shields. It allows you to take chip. If you get chipped on a rotation, no longer out. Good wall replacement from Shaw and Nira. Getting into Noisy's box. Can they get the wall again? As he gets to take it back, does get it. Can they get the stairs in? And they do. Noisy and Arctic Dangerous going down. Well done from the EVD duo.
Even with all this mobility, these guys now know the meta. It's week 10. Everyone's already caught up. You have to be able to go for these elims when you have the tools, when you have the pressure, and that ping advantage as well. Shaw on full HP, Nirwa at full HP as well. Both sitting on a few elims for each other on pops. 25 people left alive. That storm surge is going to start ticking as well, as we haven't gone down to that threshold just yet. A lot of action on low ground. Ball is still available to a lot of people as well.
And the one thing you do talk about, that ping advantage, it certainly does not hurt to have the better internet going in there. But shout out to SEE and the Vietnamese team being the first one coming through there and putting on a show last night. And I think it's actually something that's a little bit more mitigated when it comes to duos because of the strategies that end up going through, where you'll have one person forcing the wall, the other person trying to replace, or the other person isn't actually trying to get the wall right there, but they're trying to get the stick there in first, so then they can get the wall there. And you get to start playing games like the double combats, looking for the player in the sky there with the shadow bomb. As you see, their storm surge is active. We need to go to 30 players, and they got the knock on the Hayabusa courtesy of the storm right before taking the sky.
Looks like these guys are at the very highest point of this rift as well. They get to make the final decision onto where to land. No pressure from them. Not that much going on in mid-ground to protect height as it's getting shot out by Rapti. No Elims coming out just yet. Everyone playing very, very safe and tunneling very well at the moment. Crew just gets powdered down once again. Scribbly Doggy now looking for any other shots down below his mid-ground tarp layer. That's an option a lot of mid-ground bases have. They can look down anywhere in their box, just protect the top, and look for any squeeze eliminations on the bottom side of the map.
And we're going back on this rotation, so you can see how Scribby and his teammate just immediately turn backwards and start editing through their tunnel. Now they can just slowly edit backwards and fire shots. Stink goes out, they spray shots towards it, but it is actually Lanoof who gets that knock. Killigore does go down as well. Lanoof and Clinton had previously qualified, but are doing their best in here. You see Violin in the top left as we get closer and closer to the placement threshold. Kazuna and Scribby, good job cycling out right now. Lanoof does end up going down as well as Supremacy attack. He was in that top 10. However, they need to be cautious of their mats starting to get a little lower and a lot of tunnels going on around here.
Yes, and it's actually amazing what these guys are doing right now. They're waiting and tunneling as much as possible, not peeking too hard, then waiting for utility to get used. Any rifts, you go for those big shots in the air. Nesty going down now from the lower tarp layer. Once again, they're waiting for people to stop and make mistakes and capitalizing on everything as they did on the Stinks before as well.
That was a huge swing, puts them up to 7 eliminations and into the top 15. That was a 5-point bonus right there for this duo and into 30 points, up into the conversation. You can see Shaw then gets the knock onto Waste as everyone gets sent down on ultimate high as Nura is trying to work upwards and get some form of connection. He has the next lowest target. He's just going to drop down and say, whatever, here's all those heals and the utility we talk about as we close in on the next placement threshold. 11 duos left, 14 players, so a lot of solo riders. 8 of them hanging out, while only the 3 full duos.
No challenges coming on from height either, which allows Shaw to get these easy pressure picks with this gold scar. These guys making sure their rotations are perfect. Log Boom now going down. When you have this time, when you have the Pro-Am weekend to prepare your loadout, your loot path, you get these big loadouts that are gold, all the heals you need. Another knock coming in from Nirwa. They're
doing brilliant, making sure they're getting good angles, but some shots going up, finally going to force them. And that's one thing we've talked about. Uncontested high ground is great until somebody from the low ground decides to take notice of you. You are the only one raining down the shots. However, cover yourself up and just reset. You'll get that advantage back. As you can see, Nura and Shaw doing a brilliant job of this, but look at the chaos on the low ground. Right now, you have Nura in your top right, Scribbly in your bottom right, the rest of the action on the left side as Nali gets taken down by Kazuna, and we have our top 5, so it's all about the Elims and the victory route. As Violin finds Pixie right after he gets past it. 3 duos left, drop down ends up coming through. Scrib Doggy will he find it, but instead Nurok comes in late to the party, cleans up 1, cleans up 2, and that is it. Shaw and Nurok take home the victory royale. 10 eliminations, 44 points, putting them in contention again. We're into the final hour of Europe. We're right there. These are the matches that decide those last spots. 4 are up for grabs, Shy. That's it. 4 left.
It's all around the world, man. Low, mid, and height. Everything getting contested. Juice to milk for eliminations on every single layer. And Shaw and Nirwa just played it perfectly. They're seeing chaos in all these builds, all these layer switches, people just trying to survive. It is the last week as well. Everyone's just trying out their honed strategies over these 9 weeks of preparation they've had, solos and duos. A lot of people splitting up, playing with new duos as well. We've seen that a lot in NA East, as well in EU.
He's on Camo!
Isa and Camo on the low ground.
Yep, and you can see that controller duo trying to represent Digga,
ich schau die Song kaufen.
Trying to find his way to New York City. Can they make it? And this is actually one of the thinnest games we've seen so far, with 39 players left, still 22 duos, so a little more action going on the mid game. As you can see, Representative Isa and Camo's 8 elims right now. Super impressive, and there you go. Finally now into that last hour. Third time was the charm, 56 minutes remaining. And again, if you are just joining us and it's one of your first weekends watching, it is 3 hours or 10 matches. The semifinals were played yesterday, and the qualifying spots are in the top right. We have already seen the BES duo advance out of Oceania and the Trigger QQ duo from Vietnam take home the spot out of Asia. Which four will join them in Europe? And who do you got your eyes on?
For me, at the moment, I think that Shaw is just playing amazingly right now. I also think that there's going to be a lot of chances for Camo and Issa to pop out as well. They've been up and down in the leaderboards at the moment.
Ist einfach, sie sind beide in Ghost.
Games. If you get 1 or 2 pop-offs, you're right back into the running. There is only an hour left, but everyone's already experienced in playing their 10 games, knowing that, hey, if we're behind 2 or 3 games, we can play a little bit aggro here, and then catch up with those big placement types of games later on. So hopefully these guys and their game plans work out. We'll see what's up right now. A little bit of a sneaky game coming in. A 4-gun loadout, which we don't see too much from Issa, with combats, ARs, drum guns, a very AR-heavy medium ammo loadout. Low people as well on mid at the moment. A lot of calmness when there's not too many people in the server. You have these stalemate moments where a lot of people get to have a lot of information. Now this is good for 2 reasons. One, people who are boxing up know a lot of things about one another. But the bad part about it is that if everyone has information on everyone, there's so many more sightlines
ganz normaler Controller-Spieler, also er spielt einen normalen Controller, kein Scuff.
Yeah, it's much harder to manufacture eliminations in this circumstance because everyone is used to play. It's kind of nuts that we've gotten to the point where 39 people in 5th circle. It's like, oh yeah, you know, that's not that dense. You know, it's fine. You got some room to move around and work with. But like, normally the reason people say play for late is because when you get so chaotic, if you are deliberate and you're able to get your rotation down, you will get opportunities to pick off other players. And you can see there just how aggressive these guys have been. 1,102 damage above the storm surge threshold. Again, that will turn off once we get down to below 30 players. As you see the launch pad come out, no bombs there. Thought about challenging for height instead, gonna go far side of the zone and box up and turn.
Alter, den Sideskin hab ich
als ob
er hat seinen Gedanken weggegeben. Ja, aber so eine random Person. Oh, er hat 6 Shadows.
It's not possible. These guys are on split layers. Although that's very good for sightlines and different vantage points, sometimes the synchronization can get desynchronized when you're not together with your duo partner.
Stay with your buddy. Particularly, it's week 10. Come on. Like, how many times, like, unless you're a mongrel, like, trying to just 1v2 the rest of the lobby, generally hasn't worked out for a lot of players. And right now, Issa and Camo recognizing that, getting back together, still on 8 elims, and now they're going to try and kind of level out the loadout. Interesting to see him dropping the heavy sniper in favor of still running the double AR, but I'm trash, living up to his name there, as Issa just blasts with the combat shotgun. Can't poke there, can't challenge against one of the best players out of Europe. Gets the conversion over, and we're closing in on that top 15.
Very, very smooth build over there to get right back up to his partner, but no, these guys are split now.
Oh, yeah.
For 1v1. Camo getting a nice low tier or low ground knockdown on his enemy. Max going down on 60 hertz. You gotta up those hertz, but you guys see these people coming. Camo moving around. Issa popping off on his lair as well. These guys are owning the whole server, making sure everything's getting shredded down on numbers. Ash going down as well. The finish is coming out. These guys have collectively done so much damage. Drop off. It's chaos. Mods going down. What's happening over here, Sunday?
15 elims now. He just ran up to 15 elims, and notice how
he's
making 16 as well. Who says
Alter, Isas Aim ist brutal. Er sagt es, Ghost Issa ist es. Wie der Typ ausrastet. Der wird dich auch. Digga, 17 Kills. Camo. Ja, scheiße. Nein, oh mein Gott.
Right next to him, and they're into the top 10.
Alter, das glaube ich ja nicht. Hatte so lang.
Back around and find the zone.
Boah, ich dachte schon, er ist tot wegen dem Lag.
Narcy goes down, Delay goes down, Top Boy goes down. Closing it on top.
Alter, 20 Kills. 21 Kills. Junge, was tun die?
They haven't taken any damage that's significant at all.
Oh my God.
Still both alive on separate. They're playing solos. Guys, you queued up for the wrong mode. What's going on? It's 9th circle, 8 people alive, both on separate layers. Still 3 sticks available for pressure. Doing
aber Isa ist low.
Isa
ist low.
Goes down. The workout's too much for him. Another sting going on height to help out him.
Nein.
Isa on low HP. Camo. Finally, these guys are getting put in check. Isa taking stinks. 1 HP. He goes down. Can Camo clutch up? A mini coming up. The enemy pops in with a heavy sniper. Mark bringing down the big rain, but so many eliminations as we move on to the last 1v1. Alphen up with Mark going and bullying the last solo player left alive. Isa's big rain going down. Camo also going down as well. Alphen with the big combat shotgun pop shot. Intensive 8x style going down as well. They secured the Elam points. They secured the victory royale as well. But Camo and Isa, holy moly.
That was huge right there, but not to be understated. Alphen and Duo picking up 18 points right there, 8 elims and the victory royale. Zeke, that was nuts.
Sundown, that was absolutely insane. I mean, first of all, it's so awesome to hear Shai's voice and hear how incredible he's at casting. Let's just
a great first cast.
Especially in that game with Isa and Camo. Controller Lords, you got to think with another pop-off performance like that.
Yes.
They could be potentially contesting for a spot.
They could be the only full controller duo to qualify for a World Cup. It is the last chance for any of that to happen. So with games like that, Zeke, this is
just the start of the day, by the way. This is the first block of games. We have way more Fortnite, but for now, let's hang out with Bala. I know you've pulled some clips for us to take a look at. Let's see what you got.
Yeah, I can explain. I can explain some clips here of what happened in those games. Tickle. I mean, he's by himself. He's trying to clutch up, and everything was going wrong there. He ended up being placed underneath the stairs. His heavy snipe didn't get the wall. The turbo build came in, and then even here, getting the stairs placed, this duel was going to come out on top of him. But he's able to stay composed, get the elimination, and then another situation that was unexpected. Somebody lands right behind him. He still managed to get away, even with low HP. And when we looked at the leaderboards at the front, we saw all of these teams that were in this game. Here, Orc and Antilex on high ground. They use the chug splashes to recoup a little bit before Intellect unfortunately gets a little antsy, jumps out, and that's going to be the end because both Antilex and Orc are looking down on top of him. Here, Osmo goes on a tear with his teammate Milan. And I mean, some of the things that they did here, this was really interesting to me because you used to run out in the storm and just take the damage from the storm to get the loot. But in this case, he's using the chug splash to recover instantly. And then what a catch there from Osmo. We're going to look at another team here. Provoked and were so close to qualifying week after week, especially last week 8. Provoked actually goes down on a waterfall there as somebody makes his way there. But this shot was disgusting. He didn't even actually get that elimination. He did 112 to him to the face. But actually, Jorge, who was up on high ground towards the end, managed to nag that from him. But then Osmo taking on both Carnifex and Harmy by himself. Back on Imagine though, as Osmo finally, because he doesn't have his shotgun reloaded, ends up going down. Imagine with the good attempt after we saw Provoked end up going down from fall damage, takes out Risk while in the storm, and then makes another storm play to kind of try to catch him by surprise, but it's not going to be enough. But it was so close, Zeke. This shot right here, and then look at this. He was so close. He already had his crosshair on his face, but no. Jorge is going to take the win just barely by milliseconds here. See, this was so close.
Ja, schade.
Hätte fast the wire. Man.
Also, ich würde sagen, ich spiele jetzt noch kurz Minigame, bis es weitergeht. Wie funktioniert das Spiel eigentlich? Darf ich die nicht berühren oder soll ich die berühren?
Drück mal, also geh mal raus.
Ja, ich bin im Minigame.
Video starten.
Wie funktioniert das Spiel? Ich verstehe das nicht ganz.
Du musst mit dem linken, ja, keine Ahnung. Du musst mit dem linken. Es geht weiter.
Also ich sehe es unten links.
Ah, ja, ja.
Also ich sehe auch beim Stream auf meinem iPad. Bro.
Was? Check das Spiel so halt.
Ich auch nicht, ich spiele einfach.
Du musst sie glaubst treffen.
Ach, man kann schießen! Ja. Ja, hätte ich das mal gewusst.
Ich hab geschossen,
Wohl, betreibt man nicht. Ja. Oh, 10.200, oh mein Gott.
Erst wenn ich jetzt gecheckt habe, was kann man hier sprayen? Man kann sprayen!
Bestes Minigame auf Erden.
Man kann sprayen.
Es geht weiter.
It's so incredibly dense. 52 players in this lobby, 28 duos remaining, and again, the 4 final spots. We're coming down to it right now. That line, because the Mr. Savage and Benji Fishy duo have already qualified, would be 54 points. 51 was on the bottom. 3 points separating everyone. That's how tall you have to be to ride the ride. And Storm Surge is on again, Shot.
The pressure's active in EU, and we are in pressure plant as well. The lava's hot. The skins look hotter. The guns look very nice as well with that new camo that's out in the shop as well. A lot of edits going up and around. Once again, Geysers up in play. A lot of free rotation, free shots being taken too. But a miss coming in from Speezy. Very, very close to the opponent's head. Ball is getting shot down on Storm line. Once again, a very good position. A lot of people playing for pre-positioned advantage points and then milking those elims rather than getting them on the fly. The guys are being baited now. Can the beams come through? White HP on that opponent. His fly gets cut short. Jarkos going down now. Where's his dual partner? We don't know. His finish is going to be coming out now as these sweaty soccer skins, Alex and Speezy, are going to be tearing up this low ground, making sure no one's allowed to be this tall for this EU ride on the northeast side of the map.
And you see them actually able to get into the mid ground. Alex was the player from the Winter Royale who hadn't played competitive before, was just always in the arena duos, and said, hey, I'm pretty good at Fortnite, and through the open structure has now been in all of these end games. But Speezy now going to opt to tarp away. We'll see the conversion happen onto Alec, and now has to make some tough decision in terms of loot. Is going to drop the heavy snipe in favor of taking the rift. Will he opt to fix anything else up? And you can see now he's trying to go back through and just make sure he gets every possible little bit he can.
In these solo spots, when you have to face up against other duos, those spam weapons are always vital. That choice of keeping the drum gun and the AR even on low ammo, Speezy knows at some point is going to be a desperate motion on the low ground or mid ground in terms of making sure that spam is up on opponents' builds. So very smart decision there as we tune into the Fnatic boys. Motor and Virox going to be looking at their own loot at the bottom here. Have a rift to go as well. Shadows available to get up after grabbing the rift, but Motor misses out on those. Not sure if that'll affect him later on. Once again, there are a lot of geysers and a lot of ways to trickle down from height to stay on top of rotation, but that might be a big hit to their loadout and overall play this game.
Yeah, I really hope Verox grabbed those because honestly, Shadows are the most consistent in terms of the utility tool. Able to rotate. You have either targeting everyone is tarping up the side of pressure plate and trying to do damage because that Storm Surge is still active. You can see Motor and Verox about 9 points off that pace right now to be in the top 10, 12 points off qualification pace. What can they do to get themselves closer? There they are. There are the Shadows we saw earlier. Will he be able to grab them? Is that another misgrab coming out from Motor? And we talked about the clutch and the pressure being on. Now actually missing himself with one of the chug splashes too, but doesn't matter. Call him an action hero as he slides down the side of the volcano and finds the Elim.
Very smart loop balance from those duos as well. Virox goes down, but he did have a slurp ticking while he let Motor play with those chug splashes. You know, it's easy to have a very efficient chug splash in duos, but on rotation, it's very hard to hit you and your partner. So very smart decisions there. Motor has to be smarter now in a 1v2 situation, using all his mats. Around 800 left now as people go down left and right. 26 people left alive, 18 duos, no placement yet. Once again, 7th zone and a lot of pressure coming down on Motor. His shield getting knocked down, still has those chug splashes to use on the move, making sure that zone damage is not a problem. Shields, not a problem, as he gets all the way back up to 100 HP. Once again, his early game was amazing. Get those guns out, but his life goes down as well to Bodike.
And he misses the top 15, so no placement points there. Vato and Sky are going to be happy about that, as Vato is still in the lobby with the combat and the flint still rolling around in the ball. And Proxima Star, who was in the top 3, also picking it up there. And Proxima Star being the player who's been around forever, since like the original Summer Skirmish. So good to see his name back up there as Flabo picks up Rift's Guard, and we're closing in on the top 10. High trying to find a decent amount of space there in the middle, but somebody is way up on ultimate high as we're rotating around. Zeke gets blasted by Flavo in the back. Will the Elim come through? No, he's able to find the zone, but not able popping up is now all of a sudden
Hey,
1-2 players up top. This is when you wish you had Shadow Bombs. Matsu and Ibu High on the mid-guard. Ibu High gets that, but Proxima Star and his teammate just gets a rain-down shot on the rest of the lobby. Ibu High trying to find some space. He's going to have to go back over now into the plant. Is only Ibu High in 1v2, and that's not going to be enough. Fury Legend and Proxima Star going to close that one out. 6 elims and the victory round. That's how they were at 57 points. That's what got them up there, and hopefully they can keep on that pace to qualify.
They ended that game so fast, still had 9 impulses and 2 smoke grenades left at the end, but they decided to just give the lobby a whole haircut as we move in. Once again, the same zone. Geysers going up once again. A lot of launch pads can be saved on this 5th zone rotation. A lot of mats can just be saved as well when you're up in the air, not taking too many shots and basing up, going for these big hits. Benji Fishy now, the inspiration for a lot of duos in the EU region, getting their name switched for that good, sweet luck in terms of qualifying. He's getting checked on his edit, getting a little bit too close there.
Du musst hier 2 gönnen, du musst.
A lot of heals being used on that as well. Could be a mistake that proves fatal at the end of the game.
And one thing I do like though is with how many more shields there have been in the games, is players are taking more risks. They're poking out more. They're looking for more trades. They're willing to go take fights because it's like, hey, if we don't get everything here, it's not the end of the game. As Nicholas finds a great
das tat weh.
Always making sure you cover 2 layers. So what are they going to do? They're going to disengage down and over 1 layer and make sure they're boxed up. They are already very close to the safe zone, not quite in it, so we'll need to rotate just slightly over. But have the guys in there to do it. I mean, this lobby is stacked. You see Crew, Nairo, Milan, Osmo, Chapik, Snowda, like.
Mr. Savage.
Because in the last 4 games, and the games only get bigger with better players over and over. Aqua in here with Nyrox as well. We're going to be tuning into
Mr. Savage streamt gerade, ist das Fisch.
Up top on this hill, cutting off a lot of
Ich schaue einfach auf Twitch.
They're going to just have to rotate early. They're not in zone just yet, dropping just a few layers, but every layer you drop, that's a box saved on Aqua! So, moving diagonally this way is
ja Aqua.
Also risky because you have a little bit less of protection from front. You just saw there Nyrox trying to get double sniped off of his position, but is dynamic in his box, saves that up. Utility now getting split from each duo, making sure each person has a nice exit plan in case that fire alarm sounds in their game and stuff hits the fan. Nyrox going to be looking out, up and around for any vantage points. 5th circle to 6th is that kind of stalemate time where you can look for picks. He gets a nice 33 damage shot on a duo moving down bottom. Aqua looking through his pyramid, looking for any information up on the map as well.
Yeah, and they're just trying to chill. They're just trying to hang out right now, doing everything they can to keep whatever amount of space.
Der Typ hat natürlich Galaxy Skin, dass jeder weiß, hat Geld. Aber wie der Name ist einfach auch beste. Cooler Aqua oder cooler Nyrox. Ich glaube, das sagt man Nyrox. Oh, ja! Edo. Jetzt muss einfach noch gefinisht werden. Hi, Aqua. Braucht unbedingt das Leben. Das wäre mega.
Once again, EU is so good at just using their utility and following up shots. Nyrox now going down, unfortunately, could not cover his head up top. Very still smart plays there, playing off of this thing, saving that last one until he had damage rather than just using it for...
Oh my god, Aqua ist tot.
Always make sure you're milking the most out of the stuff you have in your inventory. Benji now still alive with Savage, looking for a reload while the wall goes down.
Der Mate von dem ist übrigens Savage.
Proving to be fatal in terms of getting that elimination point. Benji and Savage now in the same box. Big community rift. Chapik's going down, getting knocked all the way. Not sure in the
Alter, das muss ich auch mal
that
probieren.
coming through though, that shield will go back up once that server starts moving and the storm goes over that down enemy.
So he actually got knocked because that was the shot that he hit right before on him. That was the 87 tick. The storm ended up then ticking him over and then getting it. That was that extension where it's a minute after you've damaged someone. But we have our top 15, so 3 placement points going out to everyone. The Fishies getting those as well, so on 5 points so far from this match. And also still 2 Shadow Bombs with a lot of mats, so they're going to be able to play for late as Andretta gets picked up. So did get the top 3 points going there from top 15, but not anything more there. Majin provoked on the mid-card. On the beast, and Magisk on the high ground above him. takeoffs just below.
Sein High Ground kann man easy runterschießen, aber macht natürlich
Secret
Anonymous 27, not
Dumme.
Anonymous 72.
Mensch.
Der
kenn ich auch.
trying to make it into the top 10.
Sein Mech kenn ich nicht.
Coming out now, the zone will start moving in more awkward ways. A little bit of time for Dementos at the moment to see if he can put pressure down up top or down below. Putting vertical pressure upwards as a mid-ground tarper is very, very hard. His duo is down, but does have 6 eliminations. Pay over there. These guys have 8 in total. Looks like it's going to be 9 now, unless no, it was just a finish on Dementos. He's going to be going over on his target once again.
But it got him into the top 10, so it's fine that it wasn't his conversion because he still gets 2 points going there from knocking that team out right as the teammate went over. Now Dementos trying to find some room. So far they have gotten 13 points from this match, but they need to pick up the pace that we saw. The top duo was on 60 plus, being up 44. Needs every possible point as 27 picks up drops. Dementos still trying to tarp over, edits himself back in, finds an angle, but immediately gets cut off. Provoked, finds the conversion onto 27, and Dementos is just gonna chill, popping that utility. And again, we've talked about sending more risk and time you get there. As it's gonna drop down to 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shots. Can he find it? 4. Finally gets it after using 6 of the 10 combat shots there, but stops Provoke and gets him into the top 5. That could have end up being huge for Pulse. And on the beast working top down right now. Look at the chaos on the low ground. Tohaj being
Savage lebt noch? Nein, Savage ist tot. Ich wollte sagen, Savage lebt noch, eine Sekunde später ist tot.
Who has played in the skirmishes before? He's trying to find whatever space he can. Dementos blowing up.
Ein Solo und 2 Duos. Ein Duo und ein Solo, Mann.
In the bottom right, I'm the beast in the top right with his partner.
Dementos alleine. Also wenn Dementos das macht, Respekt. Nein, er ist tot. Nein. Nein. Nein.
But Magic Pulse brilliantly done, so well executed. And that is why they're on the top, sitting up there currently with the 62 points.
What a close match going right down to the wire. One more shot is all he needed there, but it was not possible. Did not connect. The duo does hold it down. Once again, this pattern, very, very smart solo play there, making sure he can pick up all the eliminations before the game ends, even though it's a 1v2 spot right here. Now we got Nauka and MXR, who are both chilling in their big base. Looks like next to Stormline as well, one of the best positions you can be in. Very, very nice loadout there for them as well. They've got the long-range beam to follow up with the drum as well, and that crucial combat shotgun.
Nein! Nein!
Was?
Ich bin aus dem Stream rausgegangen. Das war's immer wieder komplett.
Effort to catch up near the end of the game.
Just one thing in terms of the combat shotgun change, I feel like it's kind of mitigated just because of the removal of the shotgun timer. It ends up allowing you to kind of do, a lot of people call it the TPU Classic, where if you're ramping out, you're able to effectively tarp and shoot at the same time with very minimal amount of exposure. And I think it sort of makes up for the slight change in the range in terms of the tiles and how much damage it does to the combat, still being very, very, very strong in the current meta. But
give him a headshot.
MXR being able to push in, trying to find the conversion. Is some pressure from above. Goes for Gianni Jr. Showing why is that Gianni Sr. being taken down as they're outside the top 20. No placement points for you and a lot of time wasted in that lobby.
Just a dope reaction there to look up and then look straight up or straight ahead of himself. MXR just carrying that fight right there. Yuntos and Ryu now getting focused by the whole server. Very unfortunate when this happens. Stinks coming down as well, so that's going to be a very, very hard situation to get out of. Ryu now going down. Haiko getting his 3rd elimination, putting him and Ono kill together on the same or on 4 eliminations there, making sure their points get counted up. 35 points total at the moment. That placement points going to be coming in, and 4 more duels coming down. 35 people left alive, so that zone surge will also be an option as well.
Yeah, and that was a high-value stink. And that's one thing you talk about, you know, it feels really unfortunate when you're getting focused by the whole server. But the reason you're getting focused by the whole server is because you're in an obvious 1-by-1 that was just rebuilt without priority on the next zone. If everyone is going to focus you, it's much easier to just pile in. You can hear the rift off left eye, trying to hit it, trying to do everything you can. You will end up finding it there. Storm Surge is active as we have 18 duels left in 34 players, so pretty much everyone has a buddy with them.
And then, yeah, absolutely. This is going to be a stacked team-based endgame at the moment. A lot of 4-gun loadouts also coming in together right now. Dan Zizzle going down on Shadow Nades. A lot of multiple high ground tarps. A lot of them go down. Cazorla is going to be up top. One Shadow Nade left on Heiko at the moment. Andre going down from Cazorla's high ground pick. He gets finished off. Heiko gets that big reward off of it. The mats, the utility, campfires as well for the end game. Pickaxes coming full swing, making sure every wall is theirs before they set on the next move. Not quite in zone yet, but that tunnel will be very, very proficient. We're talking about those combat changes as well before. That also changes the range of engagement, as now we have more ARs. The style of the game and how it actually flows as more people are basing up the shoot rather than shooting on the fly if they're not going to be able to box fight, changes the way people move around the map as well.
And it kind of has given a little bit of a resurgence, what we've seen so far, to the drum gun. It allows the drum gun to have a little bit more of that mid-range feel to it, to where it is going to out-prioritize the combat shotgun, whereas before the drum gun very much so got forced out in terms of effectiveness as we hit our top 15. So 3 points going over from everyone, because why run a drum gun when you can have an FSA rifle and then the combat? But now there really is kind of a space that's between, like, it's closer to like 4 to 9 tiles, where the drum gun just shreds. And even now you can see, boom, tack AR, turn about face, 2 elims right there for Johnny Boy and Cazrola. Brilliantly done. Once those will end up tick over, they do have the top 15 as well, as Dan Hizzle gets forced out of the lobby. Proxima Star also gets down and everyone gets pulled up into the sky. We're closing in. Boom, top 10 next placement threshold.
6 chug splashes still left. We haven't seen them use to their full potential just yet in these end game storm heal-off scenarios. Proxima Star not going down. The high ground star of the last few games that we saw. A lot of wood builds. And weapons are going to pack a wallop as Johnny Boy gets another knockoff on the baller player we saw from the other game as well. These rapscallions being sneaky, moving around in brick, metal, and wood. A lot of these big mats now finally coming out, making sure that spam gets stopped down, but more pressure vertically being put down as layer switches come down from their opponents as well. Johnny Boy getting that pickup, maybe not the elimination there, as Owner Kill also gets another one on top.
Yeah, and it was a really good try from Janice there to disengage, dropping back. Unfortunately, was spotted, but in case of lighting up the top left, Zohan was able to find 3 elims, make it a 4th. As the Spaniards are just dragging their way almost into the top 5 right now. Cazrola doing everything he can on the side of the zone. Johnny Boy is still up as well. Great 130 shot in the immediate replacement. He didn't try and follow it up right, but he does. That was Fury Legend. Proxima Stars duo is going to get taken out and outside of the top 5, so that's 2 points is leaving down there. 1 chug splash is tossed out there as we're closing in. 9 players left, 6 duos remaining.
Yes, has all the pressure on him now to get that last placement spot. He is low on HP, but it is kind of free for that. Once again, it goes through 4 duels left.
Ach nee, ich muss den rausschießen, er stört. Geh schnell wieder ran. Ja, er hat gestört. Sorry.
Oh. A match, but nothing worked out
jetzt
for him
haben
there.
wir verpasst.
That heavy sniper still being available. Priority reload on it as well. 3 duos left. Looks like Naka is down at the moment. MXR moving up on the highest priority ground right now. There might be someone higher than actually at the moment. Heiko and Johnny Boy on the bottom as well with Cazorla. We'll see what they can do. MXR is going to
Ich hab bei seinem Stream direkt einen scheiß Like da gelassen. Also auf ihm, meinem Bruder Basis.
They're finally going to run out. They're going to be a little bit late on the sun. Heiko going down. Johnny Boy and Cazorla fighting it out against each other as well. MX is going to be pressured from the top. Johnny Boy goes down. Cazorla now has to avenge his duo partner and see what can be done here. Both people taking storm takes. MX coming down, but the heavy sniper is not enough as Cazorla wins that game out all the way, tarping in from that low ground position, making sure he pops off at the right moment, making the best decisions possible, clutching out that game for his duo partner.
It was all about the chug splashes. You called it early, but he went, he hung out on the low ground, and even though he got the siphon, EMXR was not able to close out the match just because he held zone, had the chug splashes, and had everything he needed. And that's something, again, a new mechanic. You can throw it, you can use it on your teammate, but because it's instantaneous HP, it changes what has now kind of been something that's been really solid in the meta for a long time. When you get to endgame, you know, hey, like, if a person has a campfire plus bandages, I can do this.
Was?
Wollen wir eine Runde Duo oder so spielen?
Ja, Digga, machen wir noch eine Runde Duo. Oder warte, gehen wir mal in Creative rein und probieren das mit dem Rift. Also Rift und dann
Oh, es ist bodendefensiv in Duo.
Ich war schon, aber nie. Du kannst du höchstens 70 Metz mitnehmen. Also ich meine Holz 30 und der Rest halt nur 20.
Okay, probieren wir das mit Drift.
Okay.
Und ist einfach perfekt, Moment.
Ja, eben. Aber wenn wir das nicht schaffen, ach nee, jetzt geschafft. Bei mir da ist jetzt so Spasten, die einfach stehen. So. Ich habe die beste Figur für Pommes. Ey. Ach lol, du hast den auch? Das wusste ich gar nicht. Also machen wir mal Chess mit einem Rift und einer.
Darf ich ein Handy?
Jetzt kannst du schön warten.
Nein, ich will auch nicht das machen. Please.
Könnt ihr eine Schnauze halten hier draußen?
Please, darf ich nicht an die. Please. Please.
Jo.
Aber ich brauche auch. Hat's 2 Waffen drin?
Ja, es hat halt 2 Waffen. Wo sind die Chests? Ach lol, ich hab's ja mitgenommen. Ich nehme das Rift. Ein Rift und eine Pump of Easiness. Okay, Achtung. Fertig, los. Klappt es?
Du musst Perfect Moment im Gegner treffen.
Okay, wir haben noch ein paar Versuche.
Ich probiere mal.
Stimmt.
Hab einen Rift.
Ich auch. Und vielleicht bekomme ich gerade noch eins. Ja, ich habe 2.
Ja.
Mann, ja, ich verstehe nicht. Probier mal du. Ich habe es hier getan.
Ich gebe einen Rift.
Hä? I don't know.
Warte, ich habe eine Idee.
Ja, jetzt
Ja.
habe ich aber keinen Luft.
Oh, ich habe noch eins.
Oh.
Bleib mal unten stehen. Ja, ey. Weißt du, so. So. Jetzt.
Ich habe
Perfekt,
Hoffnung gehabt, aber nie.
Nee. Komm grad noch mal rein.
Aha, kannst du nicht.
Moment. Ey. Oh. Hallo? Du bist.
Spielen wir nachher Squad.
Kannst du Deutsch reden? Ich bin am Streamen.
Kesu. Ey.
Kesu. Ey, wollen wir Pro Punch spielen?
Nein,
Aber der Modus macht
Ich will Squad.
nein, ich komme jetzt auch. Hallo.
Ey.
Ja, du willst ja Squad, nicht ich.
Kann bitte jemand neu starten?
Also kommt
Nope.
raus. Wir spielen jetzt Battle.
Nein, ich muss mich warten machen.
Nein, musst
mach.
du nicht.
Ey.
Oh.
Wo ist der OT? Wo hab ich das denn? Wo hab ich diesen Scheiß hier? Können wir Lobby kommen?
Nein, nicht in die Lobby.
geh raus oder nicht?
Okay, wir kommen raus.
Hä?
Aktivmodus verlassen.
Ich bin Bauarbeiter.
Bob,
Der
der Baumeister.
Bob, der Meister. Können wir das schaffen? Nein.
Müssen
Bob,
wir
der Baumeister. Komm, wir schaffen das.
Nein. Kessu.
Kurz.
Ich habe eine Idee.
Nee, hast du nicht.
Doch hast du.
Nee.
Bock hab, dann camp ich jetzt
Ich
einfach.
will noch 200 V-Bucks für den Dream zu kaufen.
Ey, ich will auch den Skin nehmen, aber Bauarbeiter ist so geil. Ach so, ich weiß, was du machen willst, Bruder.
Ja, ja. Auf die Reboots.
Ja, eben.
Ja. Wenn ich Bock hab.
Ja. Gehen wir am besten Vettel?
Dann, ja.
Mal gucken.
Mal
Und dann
gucken.
nicht warten.
Wie viele sind im Stream?
Das ist eher
Zwei.
Dolce. Ja. Weil, ja, keine Ahnung. Weil ich sage.
Leute, ich hoffe, euch hat der Stream gefallen. Ich höre jetzt auf zu streamen. Und tschüss.